Good morning, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the weekly energies with today's Monday's Musings on the 24th of April 2023. It felt really important then, and I don't know why, what I hear is why. It felt really important then to acknowledge the date and the times that we're in. And I can really feel that in my creative centre. I can really feel that in my womb and in my back, almost like a sensation of being ready to pop for all those that have carried to term, that feeling of being ready now to just acknowledge where we are and start actually delivering what it is we've been trying to create. This last week has been pretty profound with the energies since the eclipse. It's been revealing, shall we say. just leave it at that. And that feels like key to recognize that everything that is coming up this week is to reveal things for us, and how far, how deep, how much attention to that we want to pay is going to be individual, and respecting that right for everybody. I could feel a few energies rising in regards to things that I felt personally, collectively, we had moved forward from this week. But, that was just my own opinion, my own awareness of that. And that feels like key. If we can recognise this week that any conflict that we may have with ourselves and how we used to be, or ourselves and how we want to be, ourselves and each other, it's all about remembering that we're all at different stages. Our awareness is all at different stages, and all valid and all equally important, and all deserving the right to be respected. So that brings me on to the next thing. I have changed my chair. I cannot sit. I have a stool that's designed for massage and, doing reflexology and things like that. A therapist stool. And it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me. That sitting on that doesn't work for me. No matter how many different positions I try, it doesn't work for me because it leaves my legs cramped in. And I like to have room for my feet. I like to be able to stretch and to reach out, with my whole body's sensations. I don't like to feel caved in. And we all get that in our own ways, right? We all get these sensations and this feeling in our own ways. What I have done is return to a chair that I'm comfortable with. I've made comfort very important. I've made the position that I take in regards to this very important, but I've also returned to a seat that has always been mine. And that really feels quite poignant this week. A lot of returning, a lot of our own soul retrievals, a lot of returning to relationships, a lot of things that we have given out returning as well, and being aware of that. Positively and negatively, if you want to split it apart, which helps sometimes. Sometimes it really helps to split things apart so that we can see all angles. We must remember to return it back to the whole, to return it back to the oneness. So we can see a situation as this person is doing this situation is this, and we can see so many angles, but what's the overlying theme here? What is being asked of us? What is our role in this? What are we adding to this week? So I sat in my bathroom. A few little stories. Sat in my bathroom. My bathroom leads out. You can see out into the garden. I haven't got a frosted window or anything like that in my bathroom, which is quite scary. Sat in my bathroom and I was looking outside. And as I looked outside, I started to think about this week's video and what I was going to talk about, which is always a no-go for me because the more I try and figure things out, the more confusing it gets, and that's going to be quite relevant this week as well. To trust what flows, And I was sat there thinking, well, what is the relevance of this? What is the point of me doing the video? What is being asked of me? And as I did, a pigeon landed on the fence, and I clearly received a messenger that sits on the fence. Now by that I don't mean I don't get affected by anything. Of course I do. We're all human. We're all here to experience things. This week it feels really important to recognise what is ours and how we share that. Are we observing things and sharing from a perspective where we can see all angles? Are we being a clear messenger for what is being asked of us? And just as I thought that, a thrush came along and landed on the fence, and a blackbird. So we had the three birds, and I was really reminded of the song by Bob Marley. I think it's Bob Marley with the 3 birds. And it just felt like observing this week is going to be key, at least for myself. And, you know, I started to think, well, you can make every message relevant. That is what matters. What we choose to make relevant in our own stories this week, what we choose to focus on, what we choose to be the message of our own narrative this week is going to be key. So for me, yes, I am, for this video at least, going to sit back on the fence, let the cards do the talking, and leave it at that, knowing that this has always been my original seat. Unlike my dog today, I don't need to rub myself in the feces of other animals in order to fit into the environment anymore. So yes, really acknowledging your original place here this week is going to be key, and from that perspective, pass on to yourself and others any messages that may need to come through and whatever it is you are being asked to create in any way. So the message this morning was very much about being of service and recognizing that we are always of service, from every smile to daily guidance, to cooking for our family, to picking the kids up from school, whatever it is you're doing, putting, you know, flowers in the garden, driving a bus for other people to get to work. We're all of service, and really, really recognizing that this week and finding your place, finding your seat, honoring the comfort that you need in order to do that. Okay, so with that in mind, I was really undecided with what cards I wanted to use today, because there's a great field of potential energies coming through. And again, every time we feel this, every time we are uncertain, what resonates with us? So today, in amongst the potential of energy, what I can sense is a lot of confusion. So the last thing I want to do is then start picking cards that have lots and lots of imagery. For me personally, that isn't going to work. So I need clear-cut, relatable energy. So the ones that I've picked are the Runic Tarot, Viking energy, can't beat it, very masculine, to the point this week. The Light Seers Tarot, well, light, we're always searching for light, but I really like these cards because they're very applicable to life. They have a lot of normal characters in, they have a lot of people in them as major arcanas as well. So I really resonate with recognizing our place in the universal order of things. But to start off with, I'm going to start with a really simple deck, and I can't for the life of me remember the name. So I will try and have a look. But I'm going to start with a really simple deck. There's hardly any imagery in here. And that feels really important this week. If we're going to make any decisions, that they be clear cut, they be relatable to where we actually are, in our human experience, in our human process, in our human conditioning as well. But that we start simple and we end simple. Clear cut, really clear cut. If we want to talk about the energy of transformation, yes, we experience everything, we see things from all angles, but then what? What are we going to do with that energy? How can we be the messenger by passing it on in whatever it is we choose to create as a result? Okay, without getting too caught up in the smog, that's what I want to say, the smog of ideas and opinions that are going to be readily available this week. For everything you think, there's going to be another branch this week. So really honing in what it is you're trying to achieve. So what we're trying to achieve with today's guidance is a look into the energy for the week and how to best navigate it. So first, let's look at the actual energy. Let's pull things apart. Let's look at the actual energy of this week. What's going on? Oh, cards falling out. Yeah, Ace of Swords tried to fall out there. So it is a great opportunity to connect to what we feel. A great opportunity to connect to our own divine inspiration. A great opportunity to connect to ourselves as a clear channel and vessel for whatever that may be, whatever we're trying to create. A great opportunity to stand firm in what we know. Okay, energies this week. Yeah, I'm not surprised. We have the Hierophant at the bottom of the pack. Okay, a week of lessons, absolutely massive week of lessons, massive week of connecting to what it is we have discovered, the experiences that we have had, and how we choose to share them with others. Are we going to be dogmatic? Is it going to be our way or the highway? There was definitely a few hints of that this weekend. Are we going to be empowering and help people discover their own studies and their own initiations? It's going to be interesting. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Overall, okay, so it is about looking at where this energy comes from. It is about looking at the fires that we fan, what we choose to feed into. There's a great phrase, and I will say it: those who stir the shit should be made to lick the spoon. Really, really, really looking at what you're adding to this week, and from where, and the impact that has not only on yourself but on others, and then ultimately back onto yourself. Okay, so we can tend to feed a certain scenario with our own beliefs, and then that scenario can become, so yeah, I'll give an example. I'm a very deep person. Everything is a message, everything is like insight, everything is meaningful, and I love that about me. Sometimes it can get pretty intense and pretty deep, and it can be used as a shadow aspect where I don't do anything because everything has got all this meaning and I don't actually act on it. So this week, really, really looking at where we are acting from and from what energy, just to ensure that it's not defensive. Because if it is defensive, we have the Seven of Wands here. We're taking on more than what we need to know or do. And it is no, actually. More than what we need to know. So the reason I picked these cards is to look into the energy from a simple perspective, sticking to your intuition, sticking to your what's the word when we intention. Completely forgot the word. Intention. Really sticking to the word, actually really sticking to what it is you intend this week. So I've intended for this first part at least to be very clear and direct in regards to the energy, and the energy suggests that yes, that is possible if we don't take on more than what we intend to take on. Okay, and if we do, looking at why we do that and from where. On the Monday, we have the Four of Wands, a wonderful opportunity to bring things together, a chance to start reaping a harvest. I had Lamass mentioned a couple of times today, actually, and a chance to start really reaping the harvest from now until August time, bringing things together, in particular with the home. On the Tuesday, once we do that, we start to see a bigger vision. We can start to see what we want to take forward from the past emotionally into the future, and start reaching out with our legs, with our feet, with our bodies, whatever that may be. Start really reaching out from a more solid place of comfort, because we've tied that together, we've sorted that out, we've dealt with that. Okay, so now we can take that next step towards that higher vision, and that's available on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday, of course, we have the Hermit, and inside the Hermit's lamp, the reason I say of course is the star. So we find out what we want, we use that to guide us forward on the Wednesday, taking time to go within. So we are in Mercury retrograde. Outside they have, just making sure I'm recording, being aware that you're doing what you think you're doing on the Wednesday. Outside we have vans that are fixing our internet connection, and on the side it says something about connecting you to your tribe, or I can't remember, something like that. Okay, so on the Wednesday, making sure that you are doing what you say you are doing, because there's a lot of confusing energy out there, and it is about really connecting higher to the vision of what it is you're trying to achieve, in particular the one that you saw as a potential on the Tuesday. And that makes my hand quite heavy, almost like I've been holding this lamp for forever. It's just, okay, so swap arms. Yeah, okay, so maybe do it from a different perspective, or just rest and relax and actually take time with that vision, okay, rather than holding it out in front of you as part of a separate part from you. On the Wednesday, we're being given the opportunity to recognize that the vision is us, and it's always been us that's been guiding us forward, and that's going to bring that energy together beautifully. So on the Wednesday, we may have a bit of a backwards energy to the Monday, but we will come back round. Okay, it's almost essential to see what it is we need to bring back together, and that feels like a soul retrieval type energy on the Wednesday. On the Thursday, we have the King of Cups. Now, as I mentioned, these cups are really simple. Yes, these cards are really simple. Love is really, really simple. The message of love is very, very simple, and it doesn't need to be complicated here. And all I get reminded of is the intelligence of the dolphin. Okay, the playfulness of the dolphin. On the Thursday, be very playful with what it is we love. The shells in the corner remind me of the chocolates that you can get shell shaped, just really indulging in the things that bring us joy, whether it's play or nice chocolates or nurture, comfort, that kind of thing, and holding ourselves and our own needs close to our own heart. That's what I really feel on the Thursday. So normally I just need to normally in the tarot, the queens are the nurturing energy and the kings are the action. But what I really feel with this King of Cups is that he's very nurturing, actually, recognizing that our actions can and indeed should be nurturing to our heart. Okay, so that kind of changes everything, because then on the Friday we have the Page or the Princess of Pentacles. Now I say that changes everything. What that does is make our feminine almost lose 20 years. It makes our feminine really get very young in what it is that we want, really feel very young and wonderful in our body, and the physical things that we're putting into place here, ripe. That's what I hear. Okay, so on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's a feeling of ripeness. Okay, there's a feeling of, yeah, I'm so ready. I am so ready for this. But we have to acknowledge that actually this is the Page of Pentacles. So the energy is still very young there when it comes to what we nurture. And that is key this week. That's what we're being shown. How do we take care of ourselves? How do we nurture ourselves? Because on the Saturday, we have the Ten of Swords. Really looking at our mindset. The energy on the Saturday is really going to bring to light those things that finally, once and for all, need to be let go of. Okay, that have been weighing us down, those mental values, attitudes, opinions, beliefs, whatever they may be. And I'm being really drawn to look back to the Seven of Wands. Are we doing what we say we're doing? Are we in alignment with our own intention? If our own intention is to be in a relationship that promotes love, are we promoting love in ourselves and in the relationships with others? If we seek forgiveness, how forgiving are we being? If we say that we're going to look into a reading simply, how simply and light are we being? Okay, really, really looking at that on the Saturday, because there's a great chance to bring that to closure. Okay, because it's the Ten of Swords. So when that moment comes up of, oh my God, I'm just so weighed under by all these thoughts, it's transition. It's that last moment. Okay, because on the Sunday we have the Five of Swords. Now, unlike the Four, the beginning of the week we can feel like we have everything sorted, everything tied together, great abundance there, yes, marvelous, and we have. But it's going to take all week to get there, because by the end of the week we have the Five of Wands. Now, it's one thing to have everything together and sorted in a nice neat little box. Trust me, I have OCD. I can really relate to this one, yeah, with that nice tight ribbon around it, keeping everything together. But actually it is the change of the five, it is the transformation of that additional aspect on the Sunday that will stretch us, that will help us to grow, that will release the restrictions we've put around ourselves. Not everything is tidy and neat, and life itself is chaos. And it's very, very, very much this week about finding your own flow and your own light within that. Because overall we have the Hierophant, the Star and the Hermit when we look at major arcanas. What have we discovered? Yeah, who have we walked over to get there? That's going to come up this week as well. Who have we walked over to get there? Or maybe we've been walked over to get there. Hold on. So that was the postman. I just had to answer the door. And it's really beautiful, you know. What turned up was cleaning products, needing to clear things, but also a letter that wasn't for me. A message that wasn't for me was actually for next door and labelled wrong. And some eagle feathers that I ordered Oh, so very long ago, so very long ago. So that star, that higher perspective, that wider vision, coming in at divine timing in regards to messages not always being for us and being redirected where they need to go this week. So that was as we were talking about the Seven of Wands, the Hierophant, the Star and the Hermit, going within, recognizing what's part of your vision, what you need to learn and perhaps what you don't need to learn in order to not become a slave to your own sight here, to your own vision. So when we have an intention, or a creative expression, it's not about becoming a slave to it. There needs to be a balance there. You have a human experience as well, and it's not about taking ourselves away from the life that we're living in order to imagine the life that we want, but keeping that balance between the two this week is going to be key. So we have 3 wand cards, the 7, the 5 and the 4. In order to move forward, in order to grow, in order to stretch, it is about releasing that tension that we've put about ourselves in regards to defensive behavior and what we believe we have to carry. And that's key, what we believe we have to carry forward. Okay, we then have 1 cup card, 1 pentacle card and 1 sword card. The sword card is the 10 of swords. So we're coming to that end of this negative thinking that many have been almost weighed under in regards to how they emotionally feel and what it is they are creating. The negativity is as a result of an imbalance of maturity. So the actions have been there, they've been ready, but the ability to nurture them and more importantly ourselves as a channel, as a flow, as a vessel of creativity has been out of balance, and this week may continue to be out of balance. So really, really, really important that you put time aside to create as part of a nurturing practice here. Okay, so that's the nice simple energy. She says. Oh, right. That's the energy of this week. Now let's have a look at how we can best navigate it. And we're going to bring in the Viking energy for that. So let's have a drink. I feel like lifting a cup. Cheers. The Viking, the victory energy. Okay. I'll put that there. I have a feeling my door is probably going to go several times. Oh, 9 of cups at the bottom of the pack. That cheers energy. Okay. So my eyes are really drawn to the picture there of death and rebirth with the Viking energy. Oh, we have cards that have fallen out, so we're going to put them to one side. And we have the 5 of cups and the 8 of pentacles. It has been a almost continuous process, and of course it is a continuous process of transformation, of transmutation, of creativity, of death, of birth. It's like this continuous. For some it's felt like a work. Yeah, for some it's felt very heavy and almost like an attack. So we have the 8 of pentacles here, and what they're doing is they're shining their swords and their shields. Okay, so they're getting ready for battle. And underneath we have the 5 of swords, and then on the top we have the 5 of cups. Okay, so it feels almost as if emotionally and mentally there's been this conflict, this feeling of battle for some time. Hard work, heavy slog. But what we have, the cards that have come out are the 6 of pentacles and the Queen of Swords. Picking your fights this week, picking your battles. Yeah, some have been unnecessary. Some of the feeling of it being hard work is perhaps where we could have sat back on the fence and watched and observed and done what was asked of us rather than chucking in our bit. Some fires have lasted longer than they would have naturally. Okay, some change has been induced, and that's what I see, like an induction of labour, which has made it longer and harder here. And it is up to us, that Queen of Swords, to say, no, I'm not going to add to this from a defensive place. Yeah, we have the six of wands underneath there. Okay, I'm not going to add to this from a defensive place. We have the 9 of pentacles. I'm going to sit back I'm going to have comfort in what I've discovered, which is that actually for the most part, we kind of do these things ourselves. We need to do these things ourselves. What is empowerment? We need to discover our own lessons. We need to experience life in order to find out who we are. And if that's what we need to do, then maybe, just maybe, that's what everyone else needs to do as well. Okay, so let's look at how to best navigate the energies this week, although I feel like it's already been done. Right. Now I feel like I should have kept the other cards out so we could have a look. And that really isn't necessary because they're all part of the same story. We have the Two of Wands here. Okay, so it's about knowing when we can continue to look over the energy in our actions or when we just prepare to get on with it. Okay, and that's how we best navigate the energy this week. Get on with it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Overall, so Two of Wands at the bottom of the pack, which we've already spoke about, and then the Knight of Pentacles. Overall, we have the Eight of Pentacles. We still have that energy of work here, but like the Seven of Wands, physically looking at where we are working from. Okay, are we mastering this connection between our body and creativity? Why are we working? What is success to us? What is it we're hoping to gain? What is our intention? And how aligned are we to it? Has it changed? Have we changed? Really, really looking at that this week, because it's going to have a knock-on infinite effect on what we share and what we receive as a result. On the Monday, seeing things from a different perspective, really connecting up now to a higher understanding of our journeys and a new beginning from that point of view. On the Tuesday, when we had the star card with the energies as a human, our best way to navigate this energy is the World card. Okay, so to realize we are the vision, to recognize our place here and to get on with it. Yeah, to get on with it, to not get so distracted with what everyone else is doing, like my dog rolling in fox shit today, to fit in with the environment, to not try and fit in, but recognize who we are and fit in with ourselves. Fit in with ourselves this week. That's how we navigate. And then on the Wednesday, when we had the Hermit from the universe, from the overall energies this week, we have the Lovers, how to best navigate it. So make some choices this week. Make some choices on the vision that we're choosing to follow, narrate, make, create, whatever you want to call it, guide others into. Okay, so really make some decisions this week in regards to where is that energy coming from. Okay, this card, what I love is Gibo, the rune, is on the masculine heart. So before, when we had the King of Cups and the cup was on the heart, the flow was coming from the heart. The gift, the choices have to come from the heart this week. On the Thursday, we have the Knight of Wands. Can't remember what the other card was. It doesn't really matter that much. If it comes to me, it will come to me. And that feels like key on the Knight of Wands. Yes, in general, but on the Thursday, if it's meant to be, it's that song, if it's meant to be, it'll be. If it's meant to be, it will come to you. Okay, that's not to say we sit indoors, we do nothing, we don't get out in the real world and start putting things into action, but there's balance there, universal flow. Let the universe come to you as well. Okay, so not charging head in, heart in, spirit in. Okay. And then if we can do that on the Friday, that starts to mature from the Knight of Wands, from that younger masculine energy to a more advanced, mature female energy in the Queen of Wands. And it's that we're being asked of this week. If we can really connect on a deeper, more grounded, more experienced level with our spirit and with our physical body this week by nurturing it. Okay, now if we can look after our body and we can look after the vessel that holds our very spirit, we can really nurture that. Everything else starts to slot into place. And that's where we have the Knight of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. And I've put these together. They actually came up this way. I've put these together because it's really looking at our mindset and the impact that it's having on our physical feminine. Really looking at what we're charging in with and the impact that that's having on our ability to create. You know, again, it's going back to that energy almost of being induced. It's going back to that energy of being forced to deliver when we might not quite be ready. And that doesn't mean that it's always happening that necessarily this week, but that maybe it's happened before, and that it's that old wound that's coming up to, you know, like the death and rebirth, to coming up to be seen, so that we no longer create from that space, so that we listen, so that we say, okay, yeah, I've been a bit brutish, yeah, when it comes to what it is I want, and, you know, maybe put myself through these unnecessary now ups and downs and caused chaos when there wasn't chaos. You know, really looking at that this week. So the major arcanas we have are the Lovers and the World, and it is the decisions that we make in the world that we create for ourselves and for each other, based on what's in our heart, based on how well we can decide from this place, based on how gentle we can be, based on the chaos that this can actually cause. You know, when we listen to our heart, when we listen to our heart, oh my goodness, yeah, that means that we have to move. That means we have to stand. That means we have to embody who we are and take our rightful place, our rightful chair in this world. We have to be responsible for what is going on. Okay, so this week that's going to come to light, and I feel my foot itching now, because there's new ground. There's new ground to be walked. I felt ready then. Click my knuckles and stretching out and ready. Okay, and we're recognizing that we are actually ready. We are actually ready for it. Okay, so we then have 1, 2, 3 wand cards. And what I really feel is some confusion there, like, wow, there was this and now there's this and now I'm not sure, and so said this and then this and da-da-da. You, Kirsty, you said this and then that, and oh, now I feel confused. That conflict is almost necessary, because it's about finding your own truth. Whether it's messages from me or other people, if something doesn't relate, if something is causing confusion, it's like going back to that original energy of this week, that extra wand that's going to be added to the mix. Is it for you or isn't it for you? What stood out for you? You know when you are ready. And this week it is very much about trusting that, because we have the Two of Wands, the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands. It is time to grow up with our intuition. We know these things, and it is time to trust them in our actions, so that we can actually look at the story that we are creating. Okay? The map, the soul's map, the soul's journey that we are walking. So we then have, I always feel like it's a bit brutish, the Viking cards, but they are. And this week it does feel almost like, in a very empathic, compassionate way. And actually I don't have to say that, because it is anyway. But authentic, in a very authentic way this week with yourself, being a bit brutish. Actually, I've thought that before, and I've done that before, and, you know, I've got confused about this before, and I'm just going to trust my heart. I'm going to trust my heart, because then we have 2 sword cards, and it's the Ace of Swords and the Knight of Swords. If ever there was a value to take forward, if ever there was a belief to take forward, what if that was love? What if that was, you know, the very guiding force behind us all? What if we took that forward? What if we connected to that? What kind of world would we actually create? We all talk a good talk. You know, how well do we love ourselves? How well do we love each other? How well do we love things when they're not quite how we want them to be? Is our love unconditional this week? Because that's really going to be looked at. Okay, because we have the 8 of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. Again, there is some maturing to be done there in regards to the feminine. So when we talk about the mother wound, when we talk about connecting to Pachamama, and, you know, the mother loves unconditionally, the earth loves unconditionally. How well do we portray that in what we share and what it is we offer? And it's a continuous work in progress, right? It's a continuous work in progress. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, it's that old saying, is it pain begets pain? And if we're not quite there, it's, you know, we're hurting. So what do we need? What do we need in order to love others unconditionally? How can we love ourselves unconditionally? Sometimes we don't like people or a situation, and that's okay. It's okay. So what do we need? We don't need to beat ourselves up for that. We don't need to add to that situation. Let's take a step back. Let's stand on the fence. Let's sit with what we're feeling. Let's acknowledge our place here. Yeah, and what it is we're creating. Let's love ourselves a little bit to say, this isn't for me right now. and just step back. And then when we're stronger, when we have that experience, then we can return. Okay, so that is how we can best navigate the energies. Now let's have a look overall. And the overall is to bring it all together. Let's bring it all together. We talk a good talk. What are we going to do? let's bring it all together. And for that, Ten of Pentacles. Oh, I just had a bing come up on my computer that says create storage space. Your computer's running low on storage space. Okay. Ten of Pentacles. We're getting to the end of, what we can now share. We're getting to the end of what once sustained us. We need to create space for something new. Okay, we need to. That's the wealth, right? You know, abundance. It is. I shared a quote today about abundance not being what we accumulate, but what we share. And that really feels like key this week as we go into the potential energies. What are we sharing as a result of everything we're discovering? You know, what are we accumulating in the world? You know? Okay, so with that, I just feel an overwhelming sense of peace and joy, simplicity. Okay, so what's the intention? The intention, okay, what is being asked of us from the earth this week? We've looked at the energies. We've looked at how to best navigate them for us. What is actually being asked of us to share forward with ourselves and with each other? I really feel that in my heart, almost like a thread had almost been let go there. And that, you know, that feels like many cords in the heart space, many like clogged hearts actually needing a good old clear this week. So how can you best clear your heart this week? How can you best open your heart and connect to what brings it love? By making space, really looking at what's actually in your cup, what's actually in your heart in regards to the masculine, but also our actions and the light and spirit, everything that's male. So what's being asked of us this week? I hear the word love, love your fellow man. I really, really, really hear that. Love your fellow man. Okay. Three of Pentacles. So it's a collective collaboration this week, definitely. On the Monday, I felt that. Tuesday, two for the Wednesday, and I feel all fingers and thumbs on the Wednesday. On the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So at the bottom of the pack we have the Three of Pentacles, and we do have a coming together here of all the energies, and this is the 3 readings. Okay, so the energy that's underneath it all, it feels very calm, it feels very maternal, it feels very supportive, potentially. That's the potential. What we choose to do with that is obviously up to us, and this is always with life, yes? We've looked at the energy underneath it all, we've looked at how we can best navigate it. The third part always comes down to what is being asked of us. So it wasn't my door. What it actually was my camera just turned itself off. Just decided that it had enough. There wasn't enough space on my computer, and it just turned itself off. Which feels like with Mercury going retrograde, we may get a few opportunities this week just to reboot and to start to think about what it is we actually want to take forward now. So I can't for the life of me remember what I was talking about. Something about what was being asked of us. And just then my computer cut out, and that's what's almost being asked of us this week, to call it quits, to quit while we're ahead, to move forward. The overall energy is the 6 of Swords here, to actually transition from where we were past the heartache, the almost, I don't want to say unnecessary heartache because it is what it is, but past the continual pain that we are putting ourselves and each other through. Because on the Monday, that is what we have here, the Three of Swords. It's time to repair the heart. It's time to repair the damage that we have done, that others may have done. That's going to be different for everybody. It's going to be about really feeling into what it is we now require. So as I was saying in the other video, I recall now, as I was saying in the other video, it is that collective collaboration here. The energies that are going on this week, how to best navigate it, and what's being asked of us. And what's being asked of us on the Monday is to really take care of our heart, to really look at where we are thinking from, relating from, connecting from. Is it a trauma response that's occurring here? And what is it that we actually need in order to help that, to hold space for that? Because on the Tuesday, when we had the Star card and the World card, we have the Ace of Cups. If we're going to be that King of Cups, if we're going to, our actions are going to be led by our heart. It is about looking at what's in our heart, healing our heart, and then actually working from our heart space and trusting that on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday, when we had the Hermit, we have the Seven of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands. So recognizing that growth can come very much so from doing less, from keeping it simple, from bringing things back together as a whole. Yes, we can see this, this and this, and we can look at the underlying energies and how to best navigate it. What are we going to do about it? What do we need in order to grow and not take forward any more than what we need? Okay, on the Wednesday in particular. So it's that real hermit, beautiful energy there. On the Thursday, I did feel like fingers and thumbs on the Wednesday. I remember that now. I did feel like I couldn't figure things out. I couldn't slot it into a neat little pack. Everything was trying to come out all at once. So don't try and figure it all out on Wednesday. If you feel as if you're fighting against a flow, chances are you are. So just relax on the Wednesday, because on the Thursday there's a new opportunity here with the full energy coming in, and it is actually the first major arcana. So whereas the energies for the collective, by the Tuesday we had the Star coming in and then the Hermit, and then also on our how to best navigate it on the Tuesday and the Wednesday we have major arcanas. It isn't until the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that we are being asked to actually become the major arcana by treating everything as new. Okay, so yes, we have these visions come through. Yes, we have this opportunity to go within. Yes, we have this desire to look at who we are in the world. I can't remember for the life of me what the other major arcana was. Keeping it fresh. There's a reason we may not be able to remember. There's a reason messages have left, or energies have left, or emotions have left. Let it go. If it's meant for you, it will come back. If it isn't, it wasn't. You know, and that can be really hard. Really, really hard. So what do you need for your heart? What do you need for your heart? What do you need to lighten up this experience, to have fun with what is occurring? You know, to really look at our shadows in a different way, to really look at this pain in a different way. What do you need? One of the kindest things we can do is to recognize when something actually isn't for us. And that can be very frightening, because then what is for us? Well, we're not going to find out unless we let it go. And holding space for that. Because then we do have the Fool card, and then straight after we have the Nine of Pentacles. Once we've made room, like me on my computer, what did I get rid of? I didn't get rid of it, actually. That's key. I didn't get rid of it. I saved it onto a memory stick. Okay, so really compartmentalizing what is occurring this week is going to be key as well. So we're not saying that we have to get over things. Far from it. Not saying we have to move on, forget that, but we can compartmentalize it. You know, I'm not saying that things didn't happen. What I'm saying is, do they deserve to keep taking up what's occurring for you now? Or can we say, okay, that's there and that's what I learned from that? Really compartmentalizing this week, because then that gives us space to reach up. That was the day that we had ripeness, I think. And that gives us space to reach up for what it is we're trying to, you know, pick something different. Pick something different, not having to stretch so much, but that fruit that is just there waiting, that has always been there waiting, but we've been so busy trying to go after something that's initiating the same response, because we've almost gone into that overdrive. Okay, so what else is there here in this glorious tree of life? What other fruit is there to pick? If I stop feeding from that apple, and sometimes rotten apples, yeah, if we have a rotten apple and we continue to plant from that seed, we're going to keep planting those rotten apples. What if I picked a different one? What if I said, actually, that isn't for me anymore? And I've learned so much and I'm so grateful. But what does this fruit hold? This week could really be key to a new way of seeing things and a new way of creating, because on the Saturday, yeah, that's what's being asked of us. If we want to break free of this mental torment that was written in the rest of the cards, this defensive action, then it is about putting out new things out there now, because there's a high chance that the new intentions are linked to what it is we've been trying to achieve anyway, but we're just going to be doing it in a different energetic way, and it's that's going to open our mind to our whole potential this week. And that's what's being asked of us, to see the bigger perspective of ourselves. My mum would always say, Kirsty, you're better than that. And she, for those that have seen my videos before, I've shared this anyway, but she never meant that I wasn't enough. What she wanted was for me to see myself as she saw me, unconditionally. So this week, really, really, really looking at that. The only major arcana we actually have, I say the only major arcana for what is actually being asked of us, is the Fool. Start again. See things from a new perspective, yourself included. Really take that leap. Really see what is possible. We then have 1, 2, 3 3 sword cards, and it's the 6 of swords, the 3 of swords, and the ace of swords. If we want to move forward, if we want to bring harmony to our mental health, to our mindset, to everything that we have been through, if we want the healing, it is about us holding space for our own heart here and seeing ourselves from a higher, more unconditional level of love. And from that place, we then see everyone else. So cup-wise, we have 1, ironically, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, returning to the heart and recognizing that the heart is the signal of who you are in this world. So what does your heart need to be heard? What does your heart need to be heard this week? We then have 2 Pentacles, which is a lovely duality energy here of the 7 of Pentacles and 9 of Pentacles. Recognizing every aspect of our growth is to help us reach for what it is we are trying to achieve. Every single aspect. Can you imagine how life would be if we could be more that way? Gosh, this is difficult, but I know it's a step towards what it is I want. Yeah, it would change the whole perspective of how we see growth. And that feels like key to really, if we do anything this week, it is to really look at how we see growth, how we see change. We are in the Tower year. How do we see that? Is it something that happens outside of us that we have no control? Is it something that only we control? Is it a collective collaboration? Is it all 3? Really recognizing how you see change, because it's going to be different for everybody. If change comes from your own view of things, and if you're the only one that can change a situation, that's going to be really different for somebody that feels like they need to change things within a community. So recognizing that this week, recognizing what change means to you and sticking with that, because that's going to be your value. So for me, change is empowerment. That's the biggest catalyst of change, and the biggest underlying current of that is love. I do believe that pain can change us. I do believe that trauma can change us, but I do believe that love underneath it all can make that so much easier, and dare I say, joyful, natural process. A bit like childbirth. You can get people that talk about a terrible childbirth experience, and then others that sail through it. And for me, there's always an underlying current of what made them comfortable, what made them feel safe, how in control did they feel, how empowered did they feel, what did they change in order to get that. And this week, really, really looking at that. What do you need to change in order to take your situation from being too much to that wonderful, this is what I've learned, this is what I'm going for type energy? Because that's what's being asked of us this week. How we see change, how we see our own intentions and our own visions, and how loyal we are to them, how unconditionally we love them. If we had our wish list in front of us and we knew that, I wanted to be this and this, or I want to achieve this and this, and we knew what it was we would have to go through, the journey we would have to go through in order to get something, how much would we actually love our dreams as a result? Worth looking into this week. So, one card for what's being asked of us. Yep, 9, I'm going to go for the 2. 9 of Swords and the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, so again, really looking at what abundance is to us, what it is we're trying to achieve, what it is we want to share here, and really our mental attitude towards it is going to be key. Okay, so then we're going to pick 2 cards. I feel a tiredness. I'm not, right before change, there is that I can't go on type energy, and that's actually where we get our greatest amount of strength, because strength doesn't mean that something is easy. It means normally it's when we just can't. Literally at that moment, I've got the devil at the bottom of the pack. Literally at that moment of my computer is so full now, it just cut me out again. Mercury retrograde, right? Yeah, right, we're in that moment of not being able to do any more. Okay, we're going to look at how to best navigate the energy this week. Gosh, I just got the outside of the pack. We're going to go for those. We have the 9 of Cups and the 10 of Wands. Celebrate where you are, let go of where you don't want to be. And underneath it, there's the Tower. That's going to be the changing point of it all. Okay, what we want has changed, and it's about celebrating that, not trying to fit and mold ourselves into what is no longer relevant, this video included. Okay, so overall energy underneath, and then we're going to call it quits because my computer just can't take it anymore. It just can't take it. Okay. So we have the Empress underneath it all, and that's what it feels like. Our creative core cannot take it anymore. It's so full of all these different energies, all these different perspectives, all these different scenarios, memories. It's time now. We have the Knight of Cups and the Page of Swords here. It's time to pick that one idea to take forward, that one intention to take forward, to get rid of all the branches, to start really chopping back that tree, knowing that that one main calling in our heart is what is actually linked to them all anyway. And just take the energy, forward. Step into that vibe, step into the creatress, the Empress. Okay, grounded and rooted, Queen of Pentacles underneath, in everything that you do. And that's how you make space. It's not about the things that you achieve, it's about the energy that you put into it whilst you're achieving it. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Make some space. Really make some space here for the memories that count. Take care, and I shall see you soon.